started with CloudPages. And what I showed you was Smart Capture, which is one of the inbuilt features which Marketing Cloud provides. In yesterday's example, if you remember, I gave you a simple use case of, like a survey, right? So email goes to a person clicks on a link, opens the cloud page with the smart capture form, and then, the person can fill up his feedback, his comments. When he submits it, it saves back to the data extension. So yesterday's example was the smart capture form was updating the data extension. So smart capture is not only limited to updating, it can also create new records. And I forgot to mention that yesterday, but just, I just remembered, so I'll just tell you guys. So smart capture not only not only updates, but it can create records in data extension as well, provided you do it correctly. So I just modified our code a bit. So if you see, if you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So see, what I've done is, this is yesterday's smart capture form. What I've done is, if you remember yesterday, there was a hidden field for customer ID. And then we had hard coded the value of customer ID, uh, which we had taken from the email. So from email, if you remember, we were passing the customer ID. And then I was doing request parameter in the cloud page, getting it into a variable. And then this at cust variable, I had hard coded in over here, which was in customer ID. So what was happening is, it's a hidden field, nobody can see it. But when the person populates these blocks, the satisfaction score and feedback, and saves it, it automatically understands that for that customer ID, I need to update the record with these two fields. So that's what it was doing yesterday. Now, what I've done here is a slight change. I removed the hidden field. I brought it out here. I put email address also. So there are no hidden fields now. And then what I've done is, I have hard coded the customer ID value again, just like I had done it for the hidden field. Now for the hidden field, it was very easy. You could do it over here itself. For this, it is a little manual work. So basically what I've done is, if you look at HTML editor, I have added this code. This is an HTML form code. I've added this. So we'll be doing some more forms today. You will notice this. When you're doing forms in HTML, there is this thing called value equal to, and then I've put the AMP scripted value of at cust, right? So what is happening is, if I run it, let's say I run it. Okay, now this I'm running for customer number 2. So when I run it, it pre-populates the customer ID which it has come. If I don't hard code that value in the code, then this will become blank. If I hard code the value using the value option, which is in forms, then it can pre-populate. So it depends how you want to do it. But what I'm trying to say is, now if I look at my data extension, it's got 3 records right now. One customer ID 1, customer ID 2, and customer ID 100, right? So now if I put a new customer ID here, let's put a customer ID 90, and I can just put any score here. I'll put an email address also. I'll put in this one for now. Now what it's going to do is, obviously it is going to check the key. My customer ID is a key. So it's going to check if customer ID 90 exists. If it exists, then it will update that record with whatever I have updated here. If customer ID 90 does not exist, it will create a new record. So that's the power of smart capture. You can do that. You can do all this using AMP scripting as well, but it takes a couple of lines of code to do it. With smart capture, it happens automatically. So if I submit this, And if I check my data extension, ideally it should have created a new record with customer ID 90. There you go. So since 90 did not exist and customer ID is the key, it went ahead and created a new record. So this is the power of smart capture. You can use it to update records. You can use it to create new records as well. Now, at times, you may not want to use smart capture. So in that case, you may want to use forms, HTML forms. Did anybody have a question? Okay, I take that as a no. So like I said, at times you may not want to use smart capture. You may want to use HTML forms. The reason why is because smart capture, if you notice, it's very, it's very good. It's very fast, but you can't customize it too much. When you use HTML forms, you can use HTML code, put color, put, your own customization. You can do a lot of things if you know HTML and forms. So if you go to Google and search for HTML forms, you will actually get all the documentation with regards to forms. Those who've done web operations in the past, they will be quite familiar with forms. But if you see, this is it. These are the different input types. You can have text, radio button, checkbox, submit, uh, clickable button. There's some examples given as well. So this, if you see this, this is the name of the field. This is the text. We'll be doing something like this now. I'm not going to teach you forms as such because that's more HTML, but let's try and build a form, right? So let's create a new cloud page. Uh, Call it page 3. And then we'll use the same data extension for now. What we'll try to do is we'll try to push values from email to the cloud page. We'll do the same thing. We'll push some values and then we will ask the person to update maybe same satisfaction score and feedback. And then when he clicks the submit button, I will show you how to push those values to a second cloud page. So yesterday's example was from email to cloud page. Today's example is going to be email to cloud page to another cloud page. Right? So let's try doing that. All right. So I need HTML for AMP scripting. Obviously, I'm going to keep that as it is for now. So yeah, let's do it here actually because I'm going to use the form code. Now, when I'm using forms, since it's HTML, it's like this form, right? So you write your code here. Action. So form always comes with action. Action basically means when I click the submit button, what do you want it to do? So basically, I would like it to go to another cloud page. Redirect to, we did this yesterday also. This is not new. I don't have uh, the new cloud page yet, so I'm just going to leave it blank for now. So that's going to take it to that page. And there's something called method. There are two types of method, post and I think get, if I'm not mistaken. So right now I'm going to use the post method. So this is how I start my form action. Now I want people to type in the satisfaction score and the comments. So I'll need two boxes. So that's an input box. That's sorry, that's input. Again, this is HTML. Okay, so uh, don't get confused. This is not AMP scripting. Now my first box is going to be the survey score. So I'll just call it score. I need to say type. Remember I showed you types over here. These are the different types. So it's going to be a text box. And then there is another parameter value. Now, if I want to put a default value, then I use the value parameter. I showed you I put a default value earlier in the smart capture form for the customer ID. Now over here, I want the person to type it. So I don't need to put any specific value. So I can leave that blank. Now I also need to tell somebody, right? Type this box is for the survey score, satisfaction score. So I need to type that. So I'll put it before this. Just put please type. And remember, this is HTML. If I want to go to the next line, the command is BR, right? Break. It's called a break. So I'm going to put a break here, BR. I want some comments. So I'm doing this. Again, it's an input. I'll call it comments. Again, type equal to text. Now, again, the concept is the same. If I want to make updates, so right now I'm just going to show you how to pass it to the next cloud page. But ideally, you would want to update your data extension with whatever is being typed. So if you want to do something like that, again, like we did in Smart Capture, you will need to pass a hidden value. Mostly the key will have to be passed. That's the customer ID. You'll have to pass that. So in Smart Capture, it was automatically done. As I showed you yesterday how to do it. In this, you'll have to manually do it. Again, how do you do it? Same way, everything is the same. There'll be input, name equal to, this is customer ID, right? So this is, I'm just calling it cust. The only difference is type will change to hidden. When I do hidden, it's not going to display over here. But I'll have to pass a value. I'll have to hard code a value. Again, like last time, I'll have to pass the value to this page, extract it, and then put the value in this variable. So right now, I'll just do percentage. Actually, I'll just put value equal to I'll change that later. Now remember, I need to, I need a button also for the person to click and it should get submitted. So let's do that. So again, button is also an input. Submit. Type equal to submit. There you go, the button. Now what I want on that button, so I'll say submit. And yeah, I think this should be it. So whatever you write in the form, between the two forms, all this becomes a part. This whole thing is now a form. Let me save this. Remember, some things are still missing. Some AMP scripting is missing. My default value for customer ID is missing. But let me still save it. My bad. Okay, so posting will not be allowed. Scheduling will, publishing will not be allowed simply because there are some errors. If you remember, I told you the cloud page URL is missing. I need to do that. And also the default value for customer ID is missing. So these two things are missing, but that's okay. I think my page ID should have been generated by now. Yeah, it's 117. So that's generated. So let's quickly change this. I'll just push this to page 117 because I want to pass the customer ID only. So let's just change this. Sorry. I'm going to change this to 117. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to build one more page. Now on this page, what I want to do is I want to just display. So I'm trying to show you an example of passing parameters from one cloud page to another cloud page. So here I'm just going to display what the person is ideally typing in the previous cloud page. For that, I need to just open one more instance. Okay. Now, let's start AMP script coding. Percentage bracket. Declaring variables. Now I'm passing three things from the previous cloud page to this cloud page. So I'll need three variables. So one for customer ID. I'm going to call it ID. One for the score. I'm going to call it score. And one for comments. That's my three variables. Now, the function is the same. Remember, we used request parameter yesterday. So we're going to use the same function. So set at ID equal to request parameter. Now, my ID is being passed. This one is my customer ID. It's being passed with the name cust, C-U-S-T. So that's what I'm going to put here, C-U-S-T. Now my score is here. It's being passed with the name as score itself. So that's the one I'm going to use. And finally, my comments are also going as comments. So that's my AMP scripting. I'll just put a text block here now. And then we can have the first ID. And of course, we'll use the same, the V function. Everybody knows the V function now. So that's percentage equal to V at ID. Right, so that's cust ID. Then I have score. Which is stored in score. And then comments. This should ideally do it. So I've published this. I need the page ID for the fourth one. So the page ID is 118. Come back here. I can update this 118. There's one more thing missing here. That is the AMP scripting for me to get this value, the customer ID. So let's get that done as well. I can put it on top of this itself. I'm again using request parameter because it's coming from the email. I'll quickly see what is it coming as. If you see here, it is coming as cust, C-U-S-T. Sorry. So at cust ID, I'm going to put it here. Right. Let's see if it works. I didn't give an error this time. That's a good sign. Okay. So now this is, let's take customer ID 100. Ideally, customer ID 100 should be there hidden somewhere here itself. I'm putting the satisfaction score as 78, comments. I'm putting this for now. There you go. So remember, this is the second cloud page. So it's past the hidden customer ID, the satisfaction score, what I typed, and the comments, what I typed. So this is a sample example of how to pass parameters from one cloud page to a second cloud page. Unlike email to cloud page where you have to, email to cloud page where you have to put in, if you remember, I have to put in code here, right? I'll quickly show you as a sorry. I have to put in code. If I want to pass 3 parameters, then I have to put this code and 3 of them will come here. 3 into 2, each parameter and the variable. So that is email to cloud page. But when you're doing cloud page to cloud page, if you're using form, the HTML form, then basically whatever fields are there in the form, either hidden or visible, all of them are automatically passed. So you don't have to write special code calling out each parameter one by one. In the form itself, it will take care of it. So this is, so whatever I here, so I have over here the score, the comments, and then there's hidden customer. All these three get pushed automatically when I use this form action. So I don't have to add specific things that this is what I want to pass to the next cloud page. They just get passed. So that's one advantage of passing parameters from one cloud page to another cloud page. The second advantage is, so once you pass these parameters to the second cloud page, you can do whatever action you want, right? You can do a lookup, you can do lookup rows, you can do any AMP script function because you have, though the data extension is not connected to the cloud page, but you have full access to the sending data extension because you're passing the ID or you're passing the email address. So you can do any manipulations you need using AMP scripting. There are codes which will allow you to write to a data extension, inserting to a data extension, updating a data extension. You can do all these uh, by writing those codes. So that's the advantage of passing data from one cloud page to another cloud page. Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys to try something out. I'm not going to teach you. So if you go to AMP script guide, I'll send an email anyways. There are functions. So there's a function called insert DE. The function inserts a row in a data extension. It's got these arguments. 3 arguments are there, and the 4 is optional. Oh, sorry, insert data. Okay, not insert D. Insert D is for emails, but insert data is for cloud pages. So it will basically allow you to insert data to a data extension. So what I'll be sending an email, but what I would like you guys to do is simulate a booth registration system, right? What is a booth registration system? So when you have events, right? So if there are events, you have your own booth for marketing and sales kind of activities. So they normally have these tablets or even laptops. where a person can come and just type in stuff which will allow them to register, right? So we'll try to simulate that. I'll give you an assignment to simulate that. So it will take basic fields like his first name, his last name, email address, and he'll just type that, submit, and it should basically update the data extension. So I'll send out this as an assignment today uh, to simulate a booth registration system. You ideally don't need an email. It'll just be one cloud page uh, and then another cloud page. So basically on one cloud page, you will put in all the form. You'll create a form similar to this, which will take in values from the person. And when he submits the button, it goes to the second cloud page. On the second cloud page, you will use this function, insert data, to push whatever he has entered directly into a data extension of your choice. So I'm not teaching you insert data because it's quite self-explanatory. First argument is the name of the data extension. Second one is the name of the column receiving the value. Third is the value. So basically, if you will have to first create a data extension, and suppose your data extension has 4 columns. First column is let's say email address. Second column is first name. Third is last name. Fourth is company name. So you'll have to do like name of the data extension, then name of the column receiving the value. So it will be email. Suppose email, comma, and whatever email address the person has typed, that variable you will put over here. Then again comma, then you'll put the second column. The second column will be say first name, then again comma, then the variable of the first name. Then the third column will be last name, then the variable of the last name. Fourth column will be company name, then the variable of the company name. So in that way, if you create something like this, see this, insert data. You just have to create something like this, and it will automatically update your data extension. It will create a new row in your data extension. So we'll try simulating that. I will send you an assignment properly via email, but this is what I would like you guys to try and do. Okay, so this concludes CloudPages for now. Unless somebody has additional questions, we can push ahead. Let's look at content data extensions. Now, content data extensions are the last thing in AMP scripting, which I'll be showing you guys. After that, from tomorrow onwards, we will start Journey Builder, Automation Studio, those kind of things. So let's look at content data extensions. Now, what are content data extensions? I think I briefly mentioned this that day. But those who may have forgotten, let me explain to you. So basically, if you have a use case where, let's say you're targeting multiple languages. Let's say your client tells you that I want to target. If the client says that I want to target 10 different languages. So there are multiple ways to do it. One way is you build 10 separate emails, and each email will be for each language. So there'll be one in English, one in Chinese, one in Japanese, one in Indonesian, one in Malaysian. Like that, you'll build 10 of those. So that's one way of doing it. The second way of doing it is using your dynamic blocks. We did dynamic blocks, right? So you will build multiple dynamic blocks. So let's say your email, if it divides into 5 different blocks, header, footer, hero, body, like that, if there are 5 different blocks, then in multiples of 5 into 10 languages. So you'll actually have to build out so many blocks. And then using dynamic blocks, you'll have to use conditions and populate the correct block for the correct language. It's a long process. It takes a lot of time. And if there is any requirement for maintenance, like if the client wants to change something last minute or things like that, then it's a lot of things to do and make changes in these blocks. So that's the second method. The third method is using content data extension. Now, content data extensions is, you can say it's slow to build initially, But once you build it, maintenance is fast. And in case the client decides to increase the number of languages, uh, it's very easy to get those additional languages. Now, maybe I'm not making sense right now, but I'll show you what it is, and then you guys will definitely understand. Okay, so let's build an email first. Let's go to a new email. So very simple email for an example. Let's say this email has, okay. So let's say the email has this, where there is an image on the left and there is text on the right. Text will be the company name or something like that. And then there is one more image here down. There's one more image down here. Okay, and then let's say there is a button. And then finally, one more text block. Okay, let's say this is the design of the email. Right. Let's assume that there are multiple. Let's assume there are 3 languages: Japanese, Chinese, and English. So let's quickly build a data extension also. Um, it's a sendable, testable. For now, I'm just going to put very simple things like email address. Which is I'll keep key, and I'll keep language ID. Obviously, there could be many more things, but right now I'm just looking. I'm interested in only this. So let's say the data extension is only this. Let's just put 3 values. So let's say the people, right? So these are people. So this is the first person. He takes EN as English language. He understands everything in English. Let's take another person. And he does everything in Chinese. And let's take a third person. For him, everything is in Japanese. So let's say this is how it is. Now, when you're building a content data extension, you have to plan your data extension very thoroughly. So the first thing is to understand your email design. Now, this is my email design. Everything in this email is going to be dynamic based on language. Subject will be dynamic. This logo, let's say logo is, this is a company logo, for example. Let's say this company logo is, for the sake of this example, let's say that's also dynamic. The logo is clickable. So when you click on it, it takes you to the company web page and things like that. Let's say even that is dynamic. For Japan, it should take you to the Japan homepage. For English, it should take you to the US homepage. For China, it should take you to the China homepage. So the URL, when you click on the logo, that's also dynamic. This is company name over here on the right. That is also dynamic, English, Japanese, or Chinese. Hero banner, let's say that is also dynamic, it changes. This button text, again, dynamic text. Button, when you click on the button, the CTAs, wherever it takes you, that's also dynamic based on the language. And finally, this text is also dynamic. Let's say the whole thing is dynamic. So you need to plan this out fine, well. So you need to build a data extension. So let's start by building an Excel in a data extension in Excel itself. Okay, so this is my so what all would I need in my data extension? Remember, it is changing per language. So I will need language ID, right? And in the language ID, I will have English, Chinese, Japanese. Then I said subject line, right? So SL, subject line, English, Chinese, Japanese subject lines. After that, now this is my company logo. So let's call it logo. So the logo, this is an image. And I mentioned also that it is clickable, right? You click it, takes you to some home page. So then I need to define that as well. So logo, this is the link in the logo. After that, this is the company name on the right. So I'll just call it name. Then now I have a hero banner. The hero banner also is clickable. So again, the same way. So hero image and hero CTA. Then this button. Again, button has button text, which language is changing. And again, it has a CTA. So button, so BTN text, BTN CTA. And finally, this text. So I'll call this body. So body text. I'll just say body since it's not that big. So I'll just say body. Spelling mistake. Okay. So this is my structure. Now all this data will be provided to you by the client. So you will need to populate it in a CSV basically. Chinese, Japanese translations also would be provided to you by the client. I'm not updating it right now because I have a small issue with my CSV. If I put any non-English characters and I convert it to CSV, even with the correct settings, I get junk characters. So I will do the final non-English update straight into the data extension. So as of now, I'm going to leave it blank. Images, right? So I'll need some URLs. I'll just quickly pick it up from here itself. I'll just use whatever is available. But ideally, your client will either give you the URL or they'll give you images, which you'll need to update into Content Builder and then generate the URL from Content Builder and then put it in your CSV. So I'm just taking some example. I'll see what images are there. Okay, let's take this. This looks fine. So I'll just copy published URL. I'll need 3. So I'm just going to take 2 more, maybe this one as well. And then one more. Put this. So here's the images. Now CTA. I'll just go I'm going to put random ones for now. Now company name. And then the translations will come here. Again, I'll do it directly in the data extension. Then the hero image. So hero image URL, I'll take this one. This looks like a big image. And I'll need two more. Take this. So I'm taking random images, so dimensions and all might be a little different. So just ignore that. This is my hero. Now the hero CTA, again, I'm taking some I've taken some. Now the button text. Again, the non-English ones, I'll do it directly. Button CTA for now, I'm just copying this in the interest of time. Okay. Now I'm just going to save this as a CSV. Oops, sorry. CSV, comma separated. Saving it. And then let's upload it. Oops, my bad. Before uploading, I need to create a data extension. Let's quickly create a data extension as well. So non-sendable. I'll quickly see the fields. I don't remember it by heart. So I'll just quickly see the fields. Okay, so I have language ID. Then I have SL. Then I have logo underscore IMG. I can just copy it actually. URLs are normally bigger, so I'll just make this size a little bigger. CTA. Name. Hero image. CTA. That's my data extension which I've created. Now the advantage of this is in the body, I can even put HTML tags. So for example, a break tag. And any other, HTML has different tags to make things bold, underline, italics. If I want an href tag, I can put all that over here. It's allowed. Now let's upload over here. So it's matched everything since I use similar names. Now let it upload. So while it uploads, let's do AMP scripting. Now comes the AMP scripting part. Obviously, for AMP scripting, I'll need to put another block over here, right on top. And let's start the block AMP script. Now, content data extension works with lookups. Remember, we did a lot of lookups last time, so yeah, it works with lookups. The idea is I am going to store each block, whatever I've just created. All those will go in a variable, right? So let's start with this first. So this is the logo. Let's start with subject line. So I'll need a variable for subject line. I'll call it SL. I'll need a variable for the logo image. I'll call it logo / image. I'll need a variable for the CTA of the image. So I'll call it @logo CTA. I'll need one variable for the text company name basically. So I'll say @logo text, I'll call it. Then I'll need one for the hero banner image, @hero image. I'll need one for the CTA of the hero. I'll need one for the button text. So I'll call it @button text. And I'll need one for the CTA of the button, @button CTA. And finally for the body. So these are all my variables. Let's just see if our data extension has been updated. Yes, it has been updated. So this is the data extension which has been updated. Now there are a few things missing. I'll just quickly add them. Okay, that's weird. I'm not able to edit the records. Ideally, I should be able to edit the record. Is it because I don't have a key? Maybe. Maybe. Ideally, it should allow me to edit the record, but I think it's not letting me. I wonder why. Mhm. Too long. Okay. I think I did not put a key. Maybe that's why. Sorry, I gotta do this again, guys. Okay. So the idea is once I get my data here in this content data extension, I will use the lookup formula. Yeah, so I will also need language as one more variable. This language I will take from my sending data extension. So if you remember, I had created a sending data extension. This one. This one. Right, this was my sending data extension. What I need is this one because this will be connected to the email. So lang underscore ID. I guess this one is updated. So I got an error while uploading the data extension. So this is the error I got. So basically it's the value, it's the length, right? So if you see, I think this one. Ideally, these values should be long simply because the URLs are long. I think that should take care of it. And I'll have to import again. Okay, let's get back here till then. Now, I'm going to use the lookup formula. So for those who don't remember, let's do lookup again. Set at subject line equal to lookup. Now, for those who don't remember lookup, I'll quickly brush it up for you guys. Right. So the lookup formula is we need to give the name of the data extension. So my data extension is here, which I've been uploading. This one. I'm having trouble with my data extensions today. It's doing too long. One second, guys, just trying to figure out why it's messing up. Uh,
Was on sync.
so 30, 13. So 30, yeah. So there, no, 30, 106, 30, yeah, it's weird. Ah, this is the problem, guys. See, 50, 68. Text. That's the problem. Okay, we'll continue. Okay. So the name of the data extension, after that, what data I want. So if you see this, we are doing subject line. So my subject line is stored in subject line SL. So let's pick up SL. After that, the next argument which it will take is my references. Now here my references will be with language. So my language ID. So where is my language? So language is called lang, L-A-N-G. And then the variable. So when I run this, what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead and store the subject line for that relevant language in this variable. Let's see if my upload happened this time. Yeah, upload was successful this time. Okay, finally. So now what I was doing over here was Chinese copy. In the interest of time, I'm just going to show you two languages, but we can definitely do the Japanese. Let's see how much time we have. So this picks up the subject line when you write this code. After subject line, we have this logo URL. So this is the same thing. Now the codes are all going to be same. All you need to do is just copy this, paste it here, and change this to at logo img. This thing will change now to this one. It's better to do it from here. Logo img. After logo img is logo CTA. And again, I will change this code here. And I have logo text. This is called name. Then I have hero image. Make a mistake here. Set. I have BTN text. BTN text will have BTN CTA. And then finally, body. Okay. Now, how do I invoke it? Remember, we have the V function. Everybody is familiar with the V function. However, we can't use the V function simply because the V function will always, take the whatever is present in the variable and paste it on the screen. So there are things over here. For example, subject line. Yes, we could use the V function. We can definitely, use the V function over here. That should not be a problem for subject line. So you can do percentage equal to V at SL. We can definitely do this for subject line. However, for images, for links, we have a different function, which I'll be showing you now. There's just two new functions which you guys need to know. So let's do the image first. So for the image, uh, the way to do it is first just put any image, just put anything for now. Why? Because we're interested in the HTML. We're going to be changing this. You can see source. Also, it's clickable, right? So you come down here and put a link also here for now. Just put any link. Because we're going to make changes to the HTML. So you come here now. Now, if you see here, this is the link, the CTA, and this is the image. So my image, if you remember, is stored in the variable at logo underscore img. So I'm going to change this. Now, please see how I change this. So I will be using a function called treat as content. So we're going to do like this. Percentage equal to treat as content. Open the bracket, put the variable name at logo underscore img. Close the bracket, equal to percentage. So for images, for body text, we use treat as content. And whenever there's a URL, we can't use treat as content. We use redirect to. We've come across this one before. So we use redirect to. So again, if you remember, it's percentage equal to redirect to and the variable at it's called logo CTA. Logo CTA. So those are the two codes which you will be using. So I did the logo CTA, I did the display also. Then we'll come here. Now here I can use a V function if I want, but I would still recommend use treat as content simply because in case there is any HTML in your data extension, if you do treat as content, the BR will become BR only. But if you use V function, then the BR or any other HTML tag you used, that will be displayed as it is. But if you use treat as content, then it will actually use the HTML tag correctly. So over here, I'll just do treat as content. Just do percentage equal to my variable is called logo text. Hero, again, same thing. Uh, Select any image for now. Since it's clickable, put anything. And we make the changes accordingly. Once again, this will be the redirect. Percentage equal to redirect to at hero underscore CTA. Percentage. And then this is for displaying the image. Percentage equal to treat as content at hero underscore img. So that will take care of that. Again, button, the fundamental is the same for button text. Use treat as content. So same way, percentage equal to treat as content at what's my variable called, btn underscore text. And the link also, same thing. You put a dummy link for now. And you can change it. That's percentage equal to redirect to at btn cta. And then finally we come here equal to sorry. So again, treat as content. Treat as content at set the variable quickly at body. I've written it in haste, so I'm not sure if it's going to work. I'm sure I must have made some mistakes. Let's see what it happens. Let's just connect the correct data extension first. That's mine. That's the one. Let's take the English one. Okay, seems to be working. So you have the image, which is for the English one. The URL, if you see down on this on the left side of the screen, the URL is taking to gmail.com. The English name is come here. This is the hero, which is taking you to microsoft.com. In English, I have clicked here to submit. This is also taking me to the same microsoft.com, and this is in English. Remember, I put a BR. For those who've forgotten, I put a BR tag over here. Because of this BR tag, it's actually going to the next line. If I don't use treat as content and if I just use the V function, then it will put everything what is there, including the BR tag over here itself. So that's the difference between the V and the treat as content. Now, if I change it, this is Chinese. See what's happened. This is for the Chinese name. This image is changed for the Chinese customers. URL down below has changed. My hero has changed. My hero's URL has changed. Button text has changed to the relevant Chinese, and this thing has changed as well. So in this way, what happens is by simply creating a content data extension like this. So there are 3 languages. So I've created 3. I've not populated everything for Japan yet, but basically I'll create 3. I will build out the email and use treat as content or redirect to. It will automatically flip based on the language ID. So you don't have to build multiple emails. You can just build one email and it will take care of all the languages. Now, tomorrow, if your client comes and says, oh, we're going to introduce Malaysian language as well, all he needs to do is give you the Malaysian translation. You will come here, you will update your data extension with an additional row for Malaysian. And then his send B obviously will have customers now who understand Malaysian. The moment you update this, it will automatically start working and give you Malaysia as well. So you don't have to build another email specifically for Malaysia or anything like that. All you need to do is just update your content data extension. Any questions? Is this clear? Any confusions? There are only two: feed as content and redirect to. These are the only two things which you need to know, and obviously the lookup function. So with these three AMP script codes, you'll be able to take care of dynamic emails. Okay, happy if you guys don't have any questions. Uh, so with this, we are going to end the AMP scripting exercise of our training. From tomorrow we'll pick up Journey Builder. That will take one session. And then Monday we'll do Automation Studio, and then ideally we should be done. So mostly by Monday we should be finishing the entire training, and then there would be an assessment after that. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll meet up tomorrow.
Bye, Mia. Bye.
Thanks, Meet.
Bye.
You're welcome.